Hello everyone. Hello. This is AMs with Annette, your UK business update. Now, I know that I had some sound issues on some of our platforms yesterday, so I have changed my headphones, but I want to see if in fact I have sound today. So I do. Yay, that is good. Sorry, I just needed to test to see if we had sound today, so apologies if you heard that coming through. And thank you for joining me, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It is lovely to see you all today, whichever platform you are watching on. So we are currently live on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and of course inside the Uncover Wealth community, my private community on Facebook as well. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. If you are tuning in, do give me a hello in the comments. Let me know that you are here. I would love to say hello back to you as you are hopping on. So do let me know that you are tuning in and watching. It's always nicer to have people to chat to. So thank you for everyone who is tuning in. This is, as I said, AMs with Annette, your UK business update is what we are covering today. So all things UK business is what I am going through today. If you are new to me, you've not been on one of my live sessions before, my name is Annette Ferguson. I am CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I'm a chartered accountant, certified profit first professional and financial strategist, and I help business owners take home more money from their business for them and their families to enjoy. This is our not quite daily, Mondays to Thursdays, 11 a.m. is AMs with Annette. And in today's session, I am covering all things UK business. So thank you, Cloudy Duncan. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you for hopping on. Thank you for joining me, everybody who is doing that. Hey, Hank, thank you for hopping on. Hello, Greg. Hello, Lucy. Hello, everyone. Things are coming through a little bit quickly for me to catch up. Hello, Jordan. Thank you for, as I say, whichever platform you are on, I do very, very much appreciate you tuning in. So the first thing I want to speak about today is business interruption insurance and what is happening with that in the courts at this point in time. So insurers have been accused of using an absurd argument to dispute the payouts to businesses hit by the lockdown. There is currently a case before court that the Financial Conduct Authority is taking all around the wording and the policy wording of business interruption insurance, putting that case before court to try and get a precedent for insurers to be paying out under these policies. So the insurers have been accused of using an absurd argument to dispute the payouts. They claim the advice to shut was no stronger than a call to eat more fruit and veg by the government. So they're saying that the government telling businesses to shut was no different from the government, any other government health advice around, for example, eating fruit and vegetables or exercising. The High Court lawyers for the financial regulator have basically said that is ridiculous. And they have said that they are acting incidentally on behalf of SMEs, and they insisted that the government guidance had the same effect legislation because, of course, it was mandatory. The case is expected to continue for another 2 weeks with a final judgment now due sometime in September at the earliest. So a bit of a wait still for businesses affected by this. Of course, some will argue that some of those businesses would have been able to continue and may have fallen by the wayside in that time period. But it sounds like the insurer's argument currently, as they're arguing it, is not necessarily the strongest position that they are putting forward. So time will tell on this as to whether or not, which side comes out victorious, as it were. Hey Richard, thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. Hello Wildly Social Media. Thank you for joining me. Billy, thank you for tuning in. Legit Phil, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate everyone who's tuning in, whichever platform you are joining on. I also massively appreciate the love, the hearts, the shares, the likes, the follows, all those things. Again, whichever version exists on wherever you are, I massively, massively appreciate those as well. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. We are hearing that the government is running out of time to introduce a new quality assurance scheme, which basically will replace the EU's, that's kind of CE product labeling. They have to introduce that, of course, before the end of the transition period, and the manufacturing industry is saying that we're not going to have time to introduce anything here. They are saying that there is still not been published details of how the UKCA mark, as it's called, will operate. And now there's going to be a risk to supplies of components and that kind of thing. Manufacturers are saying we're going to need to have some kind of grace period, because 6 months out, we still don't know what rules we are adhering to when we are producing things. And that is causing big problems for many in the manufacturing industry. So we will wait to see what the government does on that front, and whether there is going to be any transition period or anything like that. Hannah, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the follow. I do appreciate it. Hey, Cody, thank you for joining me. I do very much appreciate it. Choice Mistake Goals, thank you for joining me as well. We heard yesterday, yesterday afternoon, that M&S, Marks and Spencer's, is set to cut 950 jobs. They are aiming to save around 500 million to offset the cost of the pandemic. So, many retailers we've heard have got severe issues. So we're hearing that M&S are doing that. I'm just going to block somebody who is not being appropriate. There we go. The UK economy shrank 25% between February and April, but there are now signs of economic recovery that we are seeing. So we are seeing an increase now in job vacancies again. That is something that massively dropped off. We're seeing an increase in consumer spending, although that is still well below the typical levels. We're seeing an increase in the percentage of staff working, increase in retail footfall, and an increase in hospitality spending, all starting to happen as well. I am Rich on TikTok is saying the UK economy will shrink further. I believe that too. I very much believe that we will be in a period of contraction for some time. So yeah, I agree with you there on that. Georgia, thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Calvin, hello. Thank you for joining me as well. We also found that the average household income dropped 4.5% in less than 3 month period during lockdown. The biggest income shock since the 1970s, when the oil crisis triggered huge rise in consumer prices. Now, we've got this income drop just now, worse since the 1970s. The worry that we have is that with Brexit happening, full transition happening at the end of the year, that we are actually going to see a rise in consumer prices because of increased tariffs and that kind of thing. So we are not only seeing a decrease in income, but we are expecting that we'll also see a rise in prices come the new year, if not earlier, as a result of the transition from Brexit. So we've got these double whammies happening very close together. That's going to have a big impact as well. We are seeing that lower income households have actually so far been relatively protected when it comes to these income drops. It is not the lower income households that are currently being affected overall. Of course, there will be exceptions to this. Of course, there will be people that have been, but when we look at the population as a whole, that is what the trend is showing. I am just saying the UK depression will be comparable to Japan's 10-year depression from 1991 to 2001. Exactly. And Rich, they had a negative interest rates for a long period of time during that recession as well, in an attempt to try and pull the economy out of that too. So we will watch this space on that. The UK, of course, floated the idea of negative interest rates a month or so ago, but that did not happen. The Bank of England did not do that, but that is still something that potentially might be on the cards as well for the UK too. And of course, the UK government borrowing has hit a record first quarter of this financial year. So the deficit has risen to 128 billion between April and June, And that is an increase of 104 billion on the same period in 2019. I took a second to let that number sink in all honesty. An increase in deficit on the same period of 104 billion pounds. So a deficit now of 128 billion. Vast, vast, vast numbers there. And we're also hearing that more than half of UK manufacturers expect to make job cuts in the next 6 months. This is also a industry that's causing problems as well. We are not talking politics here, Superfly, not in the slightest. That is not part of what we do. So there we go. If the pound weakens, we will be in a Greece-like situation. I am Rich is saying time will tell on that. Rich, we will have to see what happens. We may have issues like that as well if there is a second wave. What happens then? We just don't know at the moment. It's very much up in the air as well. So that is everything that I wanted to cover on today's session. I hope that has been useful for you. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will be back, of course, again at 11 a.m. tomorrow. If you cannot wait till tomorrow to catch up with me, I am, of course, live today inside the Uncover Wealth community. That is my private community on Facebook, where I speak about all things business. I have exclusive trainings in there every single Tuesday for Training Tuesday. So I would love if you want to join me there as well. You can just go to the link in my bio in most instances, or head over to Facebook and type Uncover Wealth Community into the search bar to find that. Today's topic is how to price your services to make a profit. So I would love to see you inside the Uncover Wealth community for that. And like I say, I'm also back 11 a.m. tomorrow, wherever you happen to be in the world, in the online space. That is what we are speaking about. So, Royal and High, politics is not up for discussion here, and also I'm not American. So certainly American politics is definitely not an area that I am covering in this session today. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. Duncan is saying, could the economy shrink permanently? Permanently forever is a very long time, but there was already an expected shrink when we were to come out of the EU. That was already expected, that the UK economy would shrink as a result of that. So that is still potentially on the cards. And obviously we've got coronavirus as well, which has caused an impact too. So permanently, I cannot say permanently, but short to mid-term, yes. Yeah, it is. Forever is a very, very long time though. We have no idea what will happen in the world for forever. So that's a very, very difficult thing to predict. Rich on TikTok, however, Duncan is saying that they believe that it will definitely shrink forever. How Little Blinky is saying, how long is short to mid-term? Well, we can definitely expect a recession of 3 years. Whether it continues beyond that is, again, difficult to say at the moment. I would expect that we're not going to be back up to 2019 or beginning of 2020 type levels for at least 8 years, maybe even longer. It's going to be a long haul in reality. That is the situation. You picked a bad time to move to the UK and buy property. Arguably, you picked a good time to buy property, potentially. Depending, we don't know, of course, what house prices will do, but but you've got no stamp duty and you've got low mortgage rates at the moment, so it's all good. And these things come in cycles as well, Little Blinky. So that is what happens. Typically, if you're buying a place to live in, you're expecting to go through those cycles. So that is, that's the situation. And plus, it depends where you moved from. You might have moved from somewhere that's in a worse position as well. Um, excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I massively appreciate your time. As always, I know it's incredibly precious. So thank you for coming and spending some of it with me today. I do appreciate it. I will be back, like I say, at 11 a.m. again tomorrow, covering all things UK business. And of course, I have Training Tuesday inside the Uncover Wealth community, my private Facebook group, which I would love for you to join me in there as well later today for Training Tuesday. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone. I will speak to you all again really soon.